the inside of the pancake was like super fluffy and like buttery tasting, and it was delicious. And the outside was like just the perfect amount of crispy.
That sounds pretty good.
So it was like crunchy. It was like I was eating a miniature like a panini or something like that, but it was all pancake. I was like, this is so good. And you know how long it's been since I had those pancakes?
I'm gonna guess a decade.
It has been 10 years.
Fuck. I want them, and I've never had them before.
I'm calling them the decade pancakes because they're super good.
Does he live in the Philippines?
No, he lives in Richmond.
Why has it been 10 years since you've had those pancakes?
Because ever since then, like, I don't spend that much. Ever since I started working at Safeway, I don't spend much time with my extended family.
We're going to Richmond tonight.
Okay.
He's making us those pancakes in time for my morning commute tomorrow, which will be extremely long because I'll have to drive back to DC. Fuck, now I'm hungry. Fuck.
All right, let's start the show.
That's not... No, we're going to do the real thing.
Okay.
All right, everybody. Welcome to yet another episode of the Stinky Boys Show. This is episode 15?
Yeah.
Episode 15. This is, we did 2 in a row, 2 in 2 weeks. It's been a while, so let's give ourselves a round of applause here. Keep going. We're not done clapping for ourselves yet. Go us. All right. Okay. Anyways, welcome back to another one of these. Yeah, it's going to be one of those episodes. I am Nathan. I am Fright Shark on Twitter. And I am joined by my best friend, this guy right here, this handsome fella.
Cool_Jafe
Are you changing your Twitter name?
No.
Officially? You got to stop doing these. You got to stop making up cool-ass sounding names.
It's just Jafe
It's at JafeMan on Twitter. And Jeff, I'm going to kick it off real quick to learn a little bit about you. What's the long...
No, I don't have any Aryan Brotherhood tattoos.
Okay. Backup question. What is the longest amount of time you've gone with the zipper of your pants open without you knowing?
That's a difficult question to answer because you don't know.
Well, I mean, you can kind of estimate when was the last time
because you discover.
Well, yeah, but you can be like, what's the last time I unzipped my pants? If right now I'm discovering that they're still unzipped, I
don't know, probably an hour.
That's not as bad as I thought. Because
I don't think I've ever gone a whole day. No, wait. I think I told this story before.
Which one?
How I wore my shorts backwards.
You wore the shorts backwards. Yeah, that one we talked about. See, but you were a kid, so you think you've only gone an hour with your pants, your zipper unzipped?
Yeah.
That's not good for me. I guess I gotta one up you. I believe I've gone a whole day with my zipper unzipped. I can only assume because it was in high school, and it was in the winter, so I had a hoodie. So I think that's one of the reasons that I never noticed was because I always had the hoodie on. But basically, the only reason that I can assume that I had it unzipped all day was because I didn't use the bathroom at school that day at all. So there was no context for me to unzip my pants at all during the school day. And it wasn't until when we went to high school, just for the people listening, there was a flagpole out in front. We would hang out there in the morning, and then we would hang out there before we got on our buses to go home for about 15, 20 minutes or something like that.
It was 10 minutes.
Yeah, it was 10 minutes in the afternoon. It was way longer in the mornings. But it was the end of the day, and it was convenient for me because my bus was right there.
Mm-hmm.
And there was a half wall that we had to climb over to get to where the buses were. And it wasn't until I was climbing over that half wall that I looked down and I was like, my pants are unzipped. And then I had to think back, and I was like, I didn't use the bathroom at school today. I think the only time I touched the zipper on my pants was like this morning when I put them on and went to the bathroom. So I think I went a good 8-9 hours with them unzipped. I wonder if anyone saw.
What's the most embarrassing way you've ever found out that your pants were unzipped?
So that's a tough one. Because normally I'll just be like, I don't even know. It's super gross, but normally I'll be like, I'm scratching myself. And then I realize that like the part of the pants is like open, and I can kind of tell that it's open. I don't know if I've ever noticed in an embarrassing way. I have. Okay,
you know when you're a teenager and you're sitting down, sometimes you get a hard on.
Yeah, you get
like,
a boner
no
and you
reason.
don't know why. Yeah, exactly. Absolutely.
That was the most embarrassing way I've ever found out that my
did it go through? Like
it did.
I mean, like not like full exposed, but like it went like the underwear went through.
It like poked through, and like I felt it. I was like, wait, there's a lot more freedom here than there usually is. And I saw it, and I was like, oh.
Sometimes
no one else saw it.
It'll be like a draft. You'll feel it, and you'll be like, that's not right, and then you have to figure that out. But yeah, I don't think I've ever had like an embarrassing thing. Because I don't think there's ever any situation where like my dick would be visible at the same time. I don't think I've ever set myself up for a failure that way.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm glad. I mean, I don't like go commando on the reg or anything like in public. Boy, that must have sucked to realize to get a boner in school and realize that your zipper is unzipped. That's two very embarrassing things to happen at the same time. And God, school boners were the worst.
Mm-hmm.
Fucking absolute worst shit.
I hate school boners.
How come, do you remember, see, this is going to go back to another, like, us growing up thing. It seems to be the best thing we talk about. I remember being in elementary school, and, like, you hear stuff about, like, when you get into high school, like, your first year of high school, like, you're going to get picked on all the time, and, like, because you're a freshman. How come nobody warns kids about middle school? I think middle school is clearly far, far worse than high school ever was.
Mm-hmm.
I had a pretty okay time in high school. But my God, middle school, like, 11-year-olds are terrible. They're the fucking worst.
I learned all of my swears in middle school.
See, I learned mine earlier.
I learned all of my swears in middle school.
You learned most of them from me.
Yeah. I learned a lot of them. I learned a lot of my hate speech from bullies. And I learned a lot of racial slurs. A lot of racial slurs. Almost all of them.
You hear a lot of them in this area. This part of Maryland is kind of weird because I feel like Maryland, to everyone else, is sort of seen as like a super liberal state. But like no one, I feel like Southern Maryland is sort of a secret to the rest of the world. Like Maryland keeps Southern Maryland a secret because like. This is like one of the most racist places. I lived in Mississippi, and Southern Maryland is more racist than there. I don't understand how this place exists, but this is probably the most racist, just awful, intolerant place I've ever been.
Oh yeah.
I've traveled not far, but far enough. I've been to the more racist parts of the country. This is a bad place. I'm glad I don't think anyone ever saw my dick by accident. Now that I'm thinking about it, I'm like super stressed out. Like basically I don't have a boner, but I'm thinking about the feeling of having a boner when you're in school. It's like the world is ending when that's happening.
Oh man.
Like when you have to get up and do anything, you're like, great, now the 20 people in this room are going to see my boner and I have to live with that. Until I do some other embarrassing thing.
I have to bear that cross.
Yeah. You have to get a patch on your shirts, like you have to iron them on. This is like school boner. That's what it says. Great, now I'm a school boner, and that's your new nickname.
Yeah. What's up, school boner?
Oh, fuck.
Guys, we're in college now. People don't forget.
And like, if I feel like I never saw anyone get a boner in school. Like
I never saw anyone.
I never caught anyone. So it makes me wonder, like, there's not a single guy that hasn't happened to. But, like, I don't know if I'd make fun of somebody if I noticed it. The fucked up thing is now that I'm an adult, I would make fun of someone if I saw them like get a boner. When I was in high school and I was maybe, I don't know, objectively more or less mature than I am now, I don't think I would have made fun of anyone. But today, if you stood up to leave tonight and you had a boner, I would make fun of you for it. A lot. And I'm sorry, you're my best friend, but I would absolutely make fun of you. I don't think I would have in high school. I would have let it go.
Well, I think if we were in public and I saw someone had a boner, I wouldn't just be like, "That guy has a boner."
Well, yeah, I wouldn't yell it out.
I would be like, "Hey Nathan, check out that fucking dude over there. He's rocking it."
And then we're just two guys in public looking at someone's boner, though. But no, yeah, I God, I would hate. How does a person like that exist? Because people would do that. Someone would see a stranger at like the mall with a boner, and they'd have to let the other 400 people in like the food court know that guy has a boner. None of those people.
Hey everybody!
Yeah, like
there's a guy with a boner here, and he's standing up. He's the guy in the trench coat.
Like he has a megaphone on him, and he just stands up on the table and announces it. This guy's got a boner. He's got a boner.
Boner patrol.
Oh, he's the boner patrol. Well, I guess it's his job at that point.
And he runs up to him and gives him a tipper.
Oh, I never got one of those in school.
I got one once.
Really?
Yeah.
I remember
that was great.
That was
the first time in my life I've ever thrown a bow, by the way.
You hit someone with an elbow because they gave you a tipper?
He punched me in the nuts, and I was just like, ugh.
Oh, you went up with the elbow?
Yeah, cause, like, it was my next door neighbor. After I, like, bent over, I just, like, wham.
Oh.
Because it hurt me a lot, and then I got him in the chest with it. I didn't get him in the face. I kind of wish that I did, so I could say, oh, I elbowed someone in the face. It was cool. No, it was just in the chest.
What a weird... And that was another middle school thing. What a weird fucking fad that suddenly, like, started spreading when we were in the 8th grade.
Punch everyone
Let's
in the dick.
hit each other in the dick. Like, when they're not expecting it. I'm so glad I never got hit like that. I mean, I've been hit in the balls plenty of times, so I know what it feels like. But it's just... Kids are fucking awful.
They are.
And all I think about is when I was... when I lived in Mississippi, my senior year, and I rode the bus, their school system is way different than it is up here, because all of the schools go at the same time. Because the school district is smaller, that means everyone from all levels of school ride the same bus. So I was in the 12th grade, on the bus with some fucking first graders. Those kids were the worst. They were awful human beings, and I'm sure they're still terrible. They're now in the 6th grade, so they're now shitty middle schoolers who are hitting each other in the dicks.
Yeah.
And making fun of people with boners.
Dude, kids are awful. I don't care who you are.
You're a piece of shit when you're a kid. I already told the story.
Yeah.
Like, the shittiest thing that I did, and it was just me totally being, like, indoctrinated into the being a shitty little kid thing, was that me and this other kid when I was in elementary school just had this competition going on. We were just hitting each other in the balls, like, unexpectedly. And it was not like a joking thing. Like, we hated each other. And we lived in the same neighborhood. And we would be at school, and one of us would just walk up and hit the other one in the balls. And why would I do something like that to another person?
I think one of the shittiest things I did as a kid was way more innocent. Because we had two totally, like, polarizingly different childhoods.
We sure did.
One of the, like, you're talking about, like, hitting someone else in the nuts, like, consistently, on a constant basis.
But I also got hit consistently.
Yeah.
Like, I got it back.
Exchanging ball blows.
Uh-huh.
The worst things that I did were, like, they were more isolated. Like, my dad bought a shitty Lazy Boy recliner, and my mom was like, I want to return this ugly chair, and I didn't realize that she wanted to return it. I went downstairs into my garage one day, and there's, like, the box that it came in, and I was like, this is a big box. I got my crayons, and I drew all over it. I made it look like it was a big house for my G.I. Joes to just, like, storm into. But it was like, now that I think of it, it's stupid because all I did was I drew doors and windows on it, and, like, they were not proportionate to the building at all. Like, that it wouldn't fly. It wouldn't fly anywhere. The building codes were clearly not in play. The windows were not aligned. It was asymmetrical as hell. There were no internal floors. I don't know how anyone's gonna see out the the upper floor windows. And also, the door was way too big.
Yeah, it doesn't sound like it's fit for anyone to live in.
No,
especially not G.I. Joe.
Nope.
He's got to fight whatever terrorism and math or something.
No, he promotes math.
Okay, yeah, you're right.
Knowledge is power, dude.
You think that's
knowing
bad?
is half the battle.
Mm-hmm.
That's what it is.
It's true. Whose thing was knowledge is power?
I think that maybe it was Inspector Gadget.
I'm thinking of Bill Nye the Science Guy, and that's Science Rules.
Or Gadget Boy.
Well, oh, right. My thing. How? Okay, first of all, how fucking terrible is it when you were a kid?
Oh, wait, I killed someone.
Oh, okay. Well, that happens, though. How terrible is it when you are at someone's house, especially when you're a kid, and you break something? And, well, first of all, it's really fucked up when you break something and they didn't see it. You try so hard to, like, cover up the fact that you broke it. I was at my friend Matt's house when I was, like, 8. And they had a whole bunch of, like, old things on this, like, dresser.
Mm-hmm.
And the dresser looked really beat up. And, like, I remember his mom wasn't there. We were playing his GameCube. And we went out into the living room. And, like, I was messing around with the dresser. And I went to open it up. And, like, I guess they hadn't been opened up in a really long time. So it, like, ripped the handles off and, like, pulled the wood with it. Oh. And my friend Matt was like, "Oh, no, that was my great-grandma's, like, cabinet or something like that." And he was like, "Those aren't supposed to open." And, like, it was just shattered into pieces, and I didn't know what to do. So, like, we took, like, Scotch tape and, like, put it all over. We put it back on. And I don't think I ever went back over there after that. I don't think I was ever invited over. Because we broke some other stuff. I didn't break it. We all broke it. He and I and his younger brother all broke it together. But I feel like I was the one who got the blame placed on because I didn't live there. We broke this cuckoo clock. Because he was one of those kids.
Cuckoo clocks exist in real life?
Yeah. It didn't work.
Oh.
But, like...
So, no.
Well, like, it didn't, like, go off. They didn't have it set to go off, but it was definitely a cuckoo clock. And, he was one of those kids that had cool-ass toys, like, miles and miles of Hot Wheels tracks. And, like, the ones that you, like, put together, and you make your own tracks. And so, he lived on the second floor of his house, was where his bedroom was. So, we built a track that started in his bedroom, and then went out into, like... the common area upstairs, and then went down the stairs, and we were trying to think of what to do at that point, and it was like, well, clearly we have to make it jump up because we were trying to get it to go out the window, and so we put a ramp there, and we set the car down it, and it flew up and, like, shattered the glass on this cuckoo clock hanging on the wall. And are you looking up cuckoo clocks right now?
No, I'm looking up
Hot Wheels tracks. Dude, we gotta get some Hot Wheels.
Oh man, what? 15 feet of track?
Yeah, man.
And they're only... It's 12... I'm going to buy that on a weekly basis.
See, the fucked up thing is that, like, if they go around curves, it's made of rubber, so, like, if it hits it too hard, it, like, stops it dead. That's one of the hardest things. But, yeah, we were trying to get to go out the window, and it hit this clock and, like, broke the glass and the minute hand on the clock. And then, I broke something at my own house when I was a kid. You were talking about how you drew on the fucking thing.
It's a box.
The box. When I was 5, we had these rocks in our driveway, and they were like the white rocks that, like, if you could draw on stuff, like with like on the road and stuff. Me being 5 years old, I just thought it was chalk. Like, I thought these like chalk rocks, and I could just write on anything like it was chalk. And somehow in my head, this translated to. I could literally draw on anything I wanted to, and then I could just wipe it off like chalk. And there's no way to lead into this without giving it away.
Oh boy.
So I'm just going to go into it. I wrote on one of the doors of my parents' car, with this rock.
Oh my
like,
God.
I essentially keyed my parents' car with a rock because I just thought it was chalk and I thought it would wipe off. Basically, the back passenger side was always the side that I got in. And so I wrote my name on that door with the rock. I scratched my name into the paint of my parents' car. And I don't remember a whole lot from when I was that old. I remember my infamous story where I pushed the kid in the ditch and got in trouble for cussing. I remember that. I remember my parents' Hell Week where we all went to the hospital and I got hit in the head. I remember being afraid around like 4 p.m. when the sun would hit all the brake lights and headlights of cars and they looked like they were on. I don't remember why I was afraid of that, but all my friends were afraid of it. I remember little things like that. But one thing I remember very vividly was my mom. I heard my mom yell, like, "What are you doing?" And then she went inside, and the look on my dad's face when he was trying to be a good parent to me for that moment of time. He was trying not to yell because he knew that I didn't understand how it worked. But at the same time, the pain on his face because he was looking at this car which was probably like 4 months old. Like, I don't think they bought it brand new, but they only had it for a couple months. And look at that, I just scratched really deep into the paint job of this car. Like, he was so torn at that moment when he was trying to be a parent and also be a guy that just got the shit scratched out of his car. And I put my dad through a lot when we lived in that house because I also dented the top of his truck. Because, like, my sisters and I got into the bed of the truck and we were sitting in there. And so I sat up on the roof of, like, the cabin of the truck. And then I stood up on it. And then I found out that we all stood up on it. And when we did that, we dented it. Like, we dented the roof of his truck because there was, like, 3 kids all standing in the same spot. And it was a very similar thing. He was more mad when he came out and saw that. But he was still trying not to be mad. But I could see it in his face. He really he probably just wanted to drive me somewhere and leave me, like, in a parking lot. Like, he just wanted me gone. Like, this fucking kid is ruining all of our belongings and our very expensive things. Oh, I was such a shitty kid in every way.
When I lived in Andrews Air Force Base, I was about 8 years old. I used to ride that was probably the most active period of my life because every day, like, for, like, I would spend about 18 hours a day outside. Like, from the fucking morning to night, I would just go outside and I'd just have a lot of fun. Like, because there were a lot of neighborhood kids and, like, some parents were, like, more lax than others. I always got in trouble. But I remember one time, because, like, there are all these neighborhoods that are, like, they're not linked together,
mm-hmm.
but, like, if you cut through, like, people's backyards and stuff, like, you get to the next neighborhood.
Yeah.
They're all really close. I remember I was riding my bike and I was, like, exploring with one of my friends. I think I might have talked about my old bike on here before.
You talked about
bike?
when you went to the bushes, I think.
Yeah, this was the old bike before that.
Oh, okay.
The one where you pedal backwards and it brakes.
Yeah.
Cool shark bike.
Yeah.
So I was riding shark bike with my
a person.
He wasn't like a friend, but he wasn't like we weren't good friends. He was an acquaintance.
Okay.
His name was Michael. I was riding with him. Oh, this is where the story gets confusing because there were two kids named Michael.
Oh, I hate that.
Like, they live, and the worst part was they lived like 3 houses apart.
Okay, one is Mike, one is Michael.
There's white Mike, and then there's half black, half Asian Mike.
Okay. Blasian.
Yeah. So I was with Blasian Mike, and white Mike was behind us. And we were just in the other neighborhood, just riding our bikes around and stuff. And, like, white Mike was like, I don't like it in this neighborhood because there's a kid here that I hate. So he just, like, bailed on us. And Blasian Mike was like, now that he's gone, I actually don't like him.
Don't you love that as a kid? No one liked each other as a kid.
Yeah. I was like, and that was basically like the first time I ever heard someone, like, talk shit about someone.
It all started there.
Yeah, and I was like, can you say that? And, like, he's not here. He's like, this doesn't seem right. And he's like, I mean, he's not gonna find out. You're gonna tell him? And I was like, no, I shouldn't. I guess. He's like, that would hurt his feelings.
Yeah.
And I was like, do you talk about me that way? And he was like, no, I don't. I was like, you're actually cool. And I was like, oh, that's good. Also, I was like 8, and he was like 2 years. He was like maybe 3 years older than me. He was around like 11. So we were just riding our bikes, and there's like this in this neighborhood. He was showing me. He was like, there's this really cool slope. He was like, but you got to be careful. And I was like, okay. And so we were going down. He didn't tell me why we had to be careful, but I found out. I found out the hard way, because at the bottom of this slope, some guy likes to parallel park on the bottom of this hill, and you couldn't see it when you're going over it until it was like too late. So like if you were a normal sized human, you could see the car, but I was not. So
gotcha.
I'm riding my bike really fast, and the way it goes is you can't see his car because there's a slope behind it, and it's like the slope is at the bottom of a bigger slope. So I was already gaining speed, and I almost picked up air, but I didn't. And here's why: because I ran my bike so fucking far into like the bumper of his car. I fucked it up, and I was just like, "What?" I've never actually told this story to anybody. I was
man!
I was like, "What do I do? What do I do?" He's like, "I'm gonna get in trouble." And Mike was like, "You gotta go."
Yeah.
He was like, "We have to leave," and I was like,
Absolutely.
And like it was like fight or flight mode, and as a child you don't have fight, so it was all like, I'm in trouble.
It's 100% flight.
So we're riding our bikes away. He gives me like a head start basically, which was cool, I guess, because
I don't know what that would accomplish.
No, because the guy came outside because he saw it happen. Like he saw a bike in there. But his skin color, like Mike's skin color and my skin color were close enough that we could be confused for one another.
Okay.
So he almost took the blame for it.
Did you get in trouble?
Did he get in trouble?
Did you get in trouble?
No, I didn't.
Did he?
He was more rebellious than I was, and he didn't because they couldn't chase us.
Was he just like, fuck you, old man, and he left?
Yeah, he was.
Awesome. What a badass.
Yeah, so when he did that, he was basically like, he said, go to hell. And then he was like,
what a fucking cool dude.
Yeah, he's like, go. He moved after that.
His dad got like fucking terminated. He got discharged from the military.
So we're riding down.
Dishonorably.
No, it wasn't because of that. It's because they moved to like Kuwait? I don't know.
He went to jail.
But we're going like I'm this 8-year-old kid. I'm biking really hard on my shark bike, and I was like, it was like I'm gonna get in trouble. And then I look behind me, and like he's just like pointing at the dude and like pointing to and like right next to the car. Like he parked his bike like he was the one that did it. So like he could I don't know, like he was covering for me, but he was also doing it in his own way that made him look cooler. And he was just like,
fucking anime character.
Yeah, he was like, go to hell, and then he like biked away really fast. He's like, he was way faster than me too because he got a bigger bike. So like, he gave me, and that's probably why he gave me the head start, because he knew he was faster. And he also had a dirt bike, so like it wasn't a dirt bike, it was a mountain bike.
Like a mountain bike, yeah.
So when we had to bike through the grass to get.
Oh, he like zoomed past you?
Yeah, so we went through like 3 neighborhoods until we got to, like we took a long way around until we got to our neighborhood. And I was like, I'm not getting in trouble for this, am I? And he was like, just don't tell anyone about this and like you'll be fine. And I kept that secret for like 15 years. So good on me.
Yeah, this is an exclusive. How old was that kid?
He was like 3 years older than me. 2 or 3 years older than me.
Kid's a goddamn hero.
Yeah.
Like, no kid thinks to do that. Like, I'll take the blame and then tell this old man to fuck off.
I think I realized, I know why, like, he and I were, like, super tight. Because, our moms were, like, really good friends.
Okay.
They were both Filipino, so they would just hang out a lot and, like, they'd cook food, and so we would hang out a lot because of that.
Pinoy pride.
Yep. Wow. Things that I thought I'd never hear Nathan say ever in my life.
I'm full of surprises.
Yeah. Mike was there for me a lot when I was in that like 2-year period where we lived like across the street from each other. This fucking asshole, his name was Trevor. He took all of my Pokemon cards once, and he said like the reason he took them was because his pastor said that Pokemon cards are like the work of the devil or something like that.
I'd heard that before too.
I was like, that doesn't make sense. Because I went to church a lot, and I was like, where would it like why is it against why is it a sin to have these? And he couldn't think of anything. And he was like, well, I'm not going to give you your Pokemon cards back. And I'm like, this dude's like the same age as me. But like the thought of me beating him up didn't come up at all. So Michael just like walked up and he was like, hey Jeff, you seem sad. He was like, hey Trevor. And he was like, what's going on? And he was like, Trevor took my Pokemon cards. He won't give them to me because he said they're against like God's will or something. And he was like, Trevor, is that true? And he was like, yeah. He was like, my pastor said that it's bad to have these. And he was like, give them back to him. And he was like, I'm not going to do that. And he was like, give them back to him or I'm going to give you a bloody nose.
Oh,
and
sweet.
he was like, I'm not going to, he was like, you're not going to do that. And I was like, because that's bad. Like, he was like, you can't do bad things. And he was like, okay.
He obviously didn't know he was fucking with. This guy's a badass.
He was like, okay, he was like, okay, I warned you. And then he punched him right in the face.
Awesome.
And I was just like,
what a fucking cool guy. That guy was your senpai.
he was. Like, I wish I remember what his name was. Like, his last name. It was like Walton or like Waltonk or something like that. And it was something weird.
The opposite of an anime name.
Mm-hmm.
God damn it. What a fucking cool kid, though. Badass.
That Trevor kid, though, gave me so much shit in my life, though.
He's probably dead. It's fine.
Probably. But I remember I hung out with him once and I realized, like it hadn't dawned on me what his, like, at that moment, what he was dealing with until later years when I actually, like, reflected on it. His dad was a hard ass. And I mean, his dad was like the hardest of hard asses. Like, his dad was really young. So Trevor was probably like a kid that he had in high school or something. Mm-hmm. So, like, right out of high school, he went into the military and to take care of, like, this kid and his wife also went into the military too. So they're both in the military and Trevor's just going along with it because I didn't know what push-ups were until that day.
So he made you do push-ups or something?
No, he didn't make me do push-ups.
The guy's dad made him do push-ups?
Yeah. He was like 8 years old and he was like, drop and give me 20. And I was like, what? Like, what's going on? And like, Trevor's just on the ground. I was like, what are you doing? And he just starts doing push-ups. I was like, what are those? And he was like, what are you doing? And he's like, I'm doing push-ups because my dad told me to.
You know what happens when you raise a kid like that? You get a cop that kills people.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
But also, fuck that kid, because one time I had like a tiny basketball. Like, I had 2 tiny basketballs. Like, one was a Coca-Cola basketball. It was like made out of styrofoam and it was cool. His fucking dog chewed it up. Like, he gave it to his dog. I left it over at his house and he gave it to his dog to chew up. And I was like, hey, do you have my Coca-Cola basketball? And he was like, yeah, I gave it to my dog and he chewed it up. I was like, why would you do that? I was like, do you have my other basketball? And he was like, oh yeah, that's mine now. And I was like, why is it yours? And he was like, because you left it in my yard. And he cited some bullshit thing that, like, as an 8-year-old, it sounds like it's right. It was like, I left it on his property, so by law, it's his. Even though it had my fucking name on it.
Right.
I was like, that doesn't sound right. That was another thing that Michael fought him over. God, I miss Mikey.
Well,
he's so cool.
If there's one thing to take away from this episode, which is pretty much the main part of this episode, is
childhood heroes are cool.
Is that Andrews Air Force Base in is that Suitland? Is it technically in Suitland?
Yeah,
Suitland, Maryland.
Oh, it's Joint Base Andrews now.
Oh yeah, JBAB.
Yeah, old JBAB
or whatever it is. But Yeah, Andrews. It's got some hero children, some shithead children, and bunch of assholes, pretty much. And with that, I think we're gonna go ahead and cut this one here, because we may be recording a second one tonight. It's a secret. It's a special thing. There might be 2 episodes in a week. That's for all the people listening. It's a little tease.
I'm going to discuss with you this after this episode is done.
But we're going to have it in the episode so people know we're going to talk about it?
What? No, because that would spoil the secret.
Yeah, don't spoil the secret. We got to close the show out.
That's what I was saying.
Well, don't bring it up, because now everyone wants to know what you're going to talk. See, there's a lot of drama now, and I'm getting worked up. Okay. Let's end the show, because we're going to come right back and do another one.
Stop.
Okay. I'm sorry.
Okay.
I am Nathan, as I said. This is Jeff. Thank you for listening.
Are you feeling okay? You feeling okay?
I thought I was going to throw up. I'm fine.
Oh, no.
I'm fine. Thank you for listening. Follow us on Twitter. Tweet at us. Jeff is trying to get people to tweet at him mean things to say to me.
You smell like dog buns.
But no one's tweeting him anything real because I'm a man of the people.
Wait.
Did you get a tweet during the show?
Not during the show. There was one thing.
Okay. Jeff is going to pull up with a mean tweet. If you tweet something mean at Jeff, he will read it out loud on the show to me, because these are supposed to be directed towards me. So tweet at JafeMan with a mean thing for him to read to me on the show. So far, nothing real. Because
did you ever find your dick?
No, because I am a man of the people, and people love me.
If the cum hog was real, how much would it be worth? That's not mean. But,
no,
yeah.
That was his hypothetical.
Oh.
Was that Swellbro?
Yes.
Our good friend Swellbro. Great guy. Add him on Snapchat. He's hilarious.
Alright. Let's find something.
See, no one cares. Or no one cares, but no one's going to be mean to me because I'm such a lovable guy.
I hate you.
Well,
the hate's real.
I guess this is the last episode.
Good. I'm fucking done. I've been done since episode 1.
Well, I'm sorry. Why do you keep coming over when I invite you?
I was about to break into a rap, but then I forgot the rest of the things that I was going to say. Bars. College, ha! That's my Lil Wayne impression. X Games.
I'm turning this off now.